Hi, my name is Kinross. I'm interactive design editor for Telegraph. I previously worked at Observer, where I was a freelancer. I've got 5 years' experience in national newspapers. I'm currently due. My education is a BA in graphic design and media, and I'm currently going to start doing an MSc in computer science in September this year. I do both graphic design, journalism. I do all 3: graphic design, journalism and computer programming.
How important is it that data is visually appealing?
It's all about, for me, it's all about, you're going to edit this now. The importance of data being visually appealing, it's not so much that being visually appealing, it's more about telling a story. Visual appearance appeals to a younger audience. Over in America you have Dig This, where the whole key success of datasbeautiful.com is mostly American teenagers seeing something which is aesthetically pleasing, and it doesn't necessarily engage them in a journalist sense but more in a visual sense. So I would say, if you're trying to appeal to a younger audience, then yes, it's important that the design is aesthetically pleasing, but usually the main point which you're trying to hit is to communicate and to show, to basically shed light on the subject and present it in a new, interesting way.
Can you give us an example of an infographic that you've worked on that's worked really well?
I won 2 awards this year. We did the coverage for Afghanistan and Iraq, and how many soldiers were passed away, how many fatalities, and that acted both as a visualization and traffic driver. So it's all about people. I think a lot of it were friends and relatives, and they wanted to read if they had other students and they're specifically interested in a key individual, it was an easy way to navigate and find a particular article. The other graphic we did was a charts, and it was similar to the talk which we just viewed, where we had sound bites, and the charts by themselves are boring, but then when you have we had a guy who's currently gone off to do his PhD over in Yale or Harvard, one or two in America, and Ed Conway, and it was just really, the charts are good, but it was just his actual annotation, his actual thoughts and feelings, and it's basically showing you what the charts have to say and explain the data, making life easy for you. You don't have to actually invade your brain the same way TV. So it's a happy medium of making the actual digestion of the information easy.
Okay, and final question. What's the best way to use infographics so that we avoid a kind of being saturated with data visualization?
In newspapers, it's the there's 2 different schools of thoughts. Like at the moment, I'd say people are pushing things forward and saying, actually, you can do things better with an infographic or a data visualization. It's more infographics in newspapers, while the old school of thought in newspapers, which you'll see throughout most newspapers, is, for example, business section, you'll see more graphics because it's harder to visually represent their news stories, so that it's all statistically driven, and they can have, a lot of editors would fall back upon having someone famous or someone pretty to illustrate the picture, and you get to the point where I'm almost like, if I was a business journalist, in every interview I would just ask, for the sake of it, what you think of such and such Kate Moss, and then just illustrate the article, big picture of Kate Moss. It's not the case, but so for business section they have to work harder to illustrate the stories, and they fall more on visualizations and infographics, while the rest of the newspaper, it's a case of, it's a luxury item. It's not a luxury item, but it's a case of, it'd be quite nice to have an infographic, but if the infographic goes tits up or we can't get the data, it's okay, we can fall back on the picture. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, that's brilliant. Thank you ever so much.
Cool, it's a pleasure, thank you, cheers.